So about 75% of Canadians aren't actually in favor of increasing the immigration through the current Trudeau plan. Now, that doesn't mean that 75% of Canadians are against immigration. It just means that 75% of Canadians aren't on board with the current plan as it stands. And a lot of that has to do with housing, which is why the provincial government of BC has recommended to the federal government that they tie housing plans to immigration, basically saying that provinces get a specific amount of funding for new homes if they bring in a certain number of immigrants. But at the same time, this isn't a political issue in the way you might think. You might think, oh yeah, Liberals are pro-immigration and Conservatives are anti-immigration. But the Conservatives unanimously voted in favor of Trudeau's immigration plan. And it seems like both Liberal and Conservative voters are against this current iteration of the plan. So why is it that we finally found something that both the Liberals and the Conservatives agree on? It's because immigration is good for business. Immigration does drive down wages if you don't continue to increase the minimum wage. And at the same time, immigration will drive up the cost of housing, which is good for homeowners, which is the majority of people who vote for the Liberals and the Conservatives. So we're stuck in a bit of a catch-22 here. So what do? Do we bring in immigrants so that we can make sure that we continue to increase our GDP so that we can continue to grow as a country? Or do we not and try to solve the housing crisis first? Like, does one come before the other? Where is the chicken and where is the egg in this situation? Because theoretically, we could bring in mass numbers of immigrants with the current housing that we have in Canada and it would be fine. But it would be hinged on the idea that we get rid of two things. One would be corporate ownership of housing, and the second would be to limit private ownership of housing. Because with our current population in Canada, we actually have enough homes to house everybody, but, profits. So we have to, as a nation, decide what is more important. Because the other thing, too, is that if we do limit corporate ownership, if we do limit private ownership, that's going to crash the housing market, which is going to make it more affordable for people to buy houses. But for anybody who has all this equity in their home, well, they're going to lose that. Also, housing makes up like 10 or 11% of our GDP. There is no right answer. There is no real wrong answer. There is just a lot of a messy situation.